1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Asif Hanif. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says establishment of South Punjab Secretariat is aimed at ensuring development of all districts of the area. Foreign Minister says Islamabad will establish friendly ties with new US administration and both the countries have identical views regarding peace and democracy in Afghanistan. Interior Minister says the PTI government has effectively fought cases of Kashmir Islam and Khatm-e-Nabuwat at international fora. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, curfew-like restrictions have been imposed in the name of security ahead of India's so-called Republic Day on Tuesday. Member of International Alliance for Defense of Rights and Freedoms, Andy Vermouth has criticized Narendra Modi for sacrificing human lives for his election stunt. In Mozambique, several people have been killed due to severe cyclone which struck the port city of Beira. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has said South Punjab was neglected in the past and its population was not given equal opportunities in education, health and employment. Talking to members of the National Assembly from South Punjab in Islamabad today, he said establishment of South Punjab Secretariat is aimed at ensuring development of all districts of this area. He said subcommittee of the cabinet is preparing a special package for farmers and will be announced soon. Meanwhile, MNAs from Swat and Dir also called on the Prime Minister and held a detailed discussion on law and order situation and development in their respective areas. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says Pakistan wants to establish friendly relations with its neighbours as per its foreign policy. Talking to media in Multan today, he said Pakistan will establish good ties with the new US administration. Foreign Minister said the new US administration will soon realize that India has changed under Modi now and it is no more a democratic country. He said voices are also being raised in this regard inside India. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said Kashmiris are facing Indian brutalities in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where minorities are finding themselves unsafe in India. He said there is a harmony between Joe Biden and Pakistan government policies as they are similar to each other. The foreign minister said Joe Biden government wants reduction in violence in Afghanistan, while Pakistan also fully supports democracy in Afghanistan. He said Pakistan's stance regarding Palestine issue is clear as Pakistan will not recognize Israel until peaceful solution of Palestine issue. Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid Ahmed has said that the opposition parties will fail in their designs to destabilize the country. Addressing a ceremony in Rawalpindi today, he hoped that due to its prudent policies, the government will overcome inflation and unemployment during the current year. He said Imran Khan fought cases of Kashmir, Islam and Khatm-e-Nabuwat at international fora effectively. Interior Minister said it is impossible for Pakistan to recognize Israel till resolution of Palestinian issue. He termed the opposition gathering as campaign to contest by-elections and it has the right to hold rallies assuring that there will be no hurdle in the way of any long march. Minister for Communication Murad Saeed has said provision of free medical treatment facilities is the prime responsibility of the state and the government will ensure this facility across the country without any discrimination. Addressing a ceremony in Islamabad this afternoon, he said distribution of Sehat Insaf cards to 100% population of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has been completed while it is under progress in Punjab, Azad Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. He said the Prime Minister has directed Balochistan government to start the cards distribution process. Federal Minister for Science and Technology Fawad Chaudhry says the government will soon finalize the mechanism for the successful implementation of electric vehicle policy in the country to boost economy, reduce pollution levels and generate employment in transport sector. Talking to a private news channel, he said that the public would be able to avail cheaper transport facilities under this policy. Chinese scholar and former defense attaché in South Asian countries, Cheng Shizong says Pakistan's self-reliance in weapons and equipment is conducive to maintaining regional peace and stability. He stated this while commenting on Pakistan's successful test launch of Shaheen-3 surface-to-surface ballistic missile. Cheng Shizong said in the recent years, Pakistan has made persistent efforts in the research and development of military hardware and has scored big points rapidly. He said the enhancement of Pakistan's self-reliance in weapons and equipment and strength of its armed forces are also conducive to safeguard country's territorial integrity and curbing regional wars and armed conflicts. This is Radio Pakistan. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, curfew-like restrictions have been imposed in the name of security ahead of India's so-called Republic Day on Tuesday. According to Kashmir Media Service, Indian forces have set up checkposts at various places in the occupied valley where motorists and commuters are stopped and subjected to vigorous frisking and checking. Meanwhile, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference and other Hurriyat leaders and organizations including Shabir Ahmed Dar, Muhammad Iqbal Mir and Jammu and Kashmir Democratic Freedom Party in their statements in Srinagar appealed to the Kashmiri people to observe India's Republic Day as Black Day. The APHC, through posters displayed at various places in the valley, asked the people to hoist black flags on their rooftops, shops and electricity poles to give a strong message to the world that India is not a democratic country but a usurper of basic rights of the Kashmiri people in the occupied territory. On the other hand, Hurriyat leaders paid glowing tributes to the martyrs of Handwara on the eve of their martyrdom anniversary. 17 innocent Kashmiris were killed when personnel of Border Security Force had opened indiscriminate fire on thousands of peaceful protesters at Handwara Chowk for protesting against the Gaukadal massacre. Meanwhile, the Jammu and Kashmir Special Peace Forum chairman, Davinder Singh Bahal, addressing a function in Nowshera area of Jammu, said that the Indian troops are committing massive human rights violations in the territory. Member of International Alliance for Defense of Rights and Freedoms, Andy Vermut says Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has sacrificed human lives for an election stunt. In a Twitter message, Vermut said she will call for resignation of Narendra Modi at all international fora. She said that disgraceful actions are shameful for Arnab Goswami and India. She said this is the latest example of Indian sponsorship of terrorism in Pakistan, its flagrant abuses in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and a 15-year-old global defamation campaign against Pakistan. Vermut said, as a human rights activist, she will continue to expose India's belligerent designs towards Pakistan and the fascist government of Narendra Modi. In India, main opposition party, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has said that the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which controls India today, is a fascist and male chauvinist organization. Talking to media in Tamil Nadu, Rahul Gandhi said that RSS discriminated against the women and does not respect them. The Kuwaiti Amir Sheikh Nawaf has appointed Sheikh Sabah Khalid Al-Hamd Al-Sabah as new Prime Minister of the country. According to official news agency Kuna, the Amir also signed him to submit the names of new cabinet and form a government. In Iraq, 11 paramilitary members were killed and 12 others injured in a Daesh attack in Salahuddin province north of capital Baghdad. In Mozambique, several people reportedly have been killed after a severe cyclone struck the port of Beira. According to Mozambique National Institute of Meteorology, the city of Beira has received 250 mm of rain in the last 24 hours. In Afghanistan, 38 Taliban have been killed and 13 others injured in an operation by security forces in Kandahar province. And finally, the weather. Cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while very cold in upper parts and North Balochistan during the next 12 hours. And at the end of this news bulletin, here once again are few of the headlines. Prime Minister says establishment of South Punjab Secretariat is aimed at ensuring development of all districts of the area. Foreign Minister says Islamabad will establish friendly ties with new US administration and both the countries have identical views regarding peace and democracy in Afghanistan. Interior Minister says the PTI government has effectively fought cases of Kashmir, Islam and Khatm-e-Nabuwat at international fora. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, curfew-like restrictions have been imposed in the name of security ahead of India's so-called Republic Day on Tuesday. Member of International Alliance for Defense of Rights and Freedoms, Andy Vermut has criticized Narendra Modi for sacrificing human lives for his election stunt. In Mozambique, several people have been killed due to severe cyclone which struck the port city of Beira. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch the live video streaming of our news bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.